Welcome everybody. This is Tameless Podcast. My name is Dr. Joey Mersal, and I got Muzi Rustum here, one of my close friends.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, and I want to welcome you guys to this platform. The point of it is we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting things. You know, getting some special guests and doing some fun stuff in general.
Awesome. Actually, I hope you're ready today. We're going to speak mostly about you today.
Yeah. I'm going to do an intro. First episodes is basically me going through my life. You know, and I got Muzi, one of my close friends here, over, 20 years now? Damn.
What, 28, 29? Probably going to speak about that too.
Yeah.
Who's counting?
So, welcome everyone. And I'll leave the floor to Muzi today. He's going to be the one doing an interview and, asking all the important questions. And
All right. Well, let's break it down. I actually broke it down by 4 chapters.
Nice.
So I hope you're ready. Chapter 1 is going to be about your childhood, how you grew up and all that. And then chapter 2 is moving to Libya.
Okay.
And chapter 3 is chapter 3 we're going to focus on Canada, moving back to Canada and why Ottawa. And then chapter 4 we're going to speak more about your businesses, opening up the clinic, Blanca, and all the stuff that you're doing now, including Tameless and the podcast.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so let's start with chapter 1, your childhood. Tell us about you, Joey. Who are you? Where did you grow up?
Oh man, I grew up here in Canada. My early life, I'll say, in Saskatchewan, until grade 1, and then after that, my parents decided to move to the Middle East.
Grade 1. So, do you remember stuff or?
Like
Vague
briefly
memories,
through my sister, through pictures, but not much, grade 1. But yeah, after that, my family moved to Middle East. We moved to Saudi Arabia. We lived in Saudi Arabia for a number of years, just maybe over 12 years.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, 12 years in Saudi Arabia. And that was during the time where, Saudi Arabia is not as it is today, but it was still developing really fast, which, my family, we settled there, learning the language, adjusting to the culture. It was great experience of my life. It's one of the best chapters. I like how you got my life dived up in four chapters. So the childhood was great. I had a great childhood in Saudi Arabia. I learned a lot. I was exposed to a lot of good characters, entrepreneurship, business mentality. It was an eye-opener in a young age, the whole... in my high school years, I was with a group of friends that were invested a lot in entrepreneurship. I was living in Jeddah at the moment. Jeddah is like the second, I think, biggest city in.
It's the cool city in Saudi.
It is, yeah, it is. It's on the beach. Water is a big part of life there. And I learned so much. It was a very useful childhood. I feel like at a young age I was exposed to, like I said, entrepreneurships, business mentality, looking at the world from a different angle.
People with money, you mean?
Yeah, people with money that were investing in their younger generation to have a generation that are better than them, with higher education, business mentality. And I think the school did a big factor. I was in one of the really great schools. We were studying with laptops. We had laptops. Yeah, like we used to, log into fast internet. We were sending our homework with emails. So it kind of gave me, I don't think I saw a school in Canada that had that. And that was back in...
Libya too.
Yeah, and that was back in 2003, 2004. Yeah.
I think the only time I used a laptop at school is I went to England in 2004, and that was the only time we used a laptop. Like it was I remember it was an Apple laptop just for the labs lessons, just to see like physics and stuff like that. And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, no.
Yeah, no, it was, I think, it was actually a tablet. When I tell you, I swear to God, it was a tablet. It was in 2000. I need to be precise. So let's see, 2006.
What was the brand?
Toshiba.
Toshiba.
We had Toshiba laptops that were folded over, and we had pens that we can write on the screen.
Yeah.
So if it was like a mathematical equations, we used to flip the tablets, mark it in. And the school used to check who comes to school through your tablet. If it gets registered to the internet on the day of you walking into school, or your parents are going to get a message.
How much your dad was paying for that school?
It was around 25,000 reals for the full year. So it was like around, I think, 5,000 US. I don't know, it's bad at math, but roughly around that. It was a great school. So yeah, fast forward tracking, Saudi big character. I started, considering what I want to do because high school was getting to an end. And at that moment, my dad was doing, he was working here in Canada as a locum doctor. And they had this like dinner, all the doctors were coming. And my dad was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Yeah, I got," he's like, "You're coming with me." I'm like, "Okay." So, I'm tagging along and I go to a meeting with a lot of 50-something years old doctors. So I'm there. I think I was like 16 at the time, 16. And they're all there, back pain, this, patient, this, hospital, this. And I'm like, man, they look miserable. They look tired. And I'm like, I know, like with growing up with a dad that, spends a lot of time at the hospital, you see how he gets home and he wants to, spend some time with us, but it's a hard job, as a pediatrician, you're dealing with kids, and he was a neonate specialist. So he's dealing with newborn kids, special cases, and it's tiring. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. I want to live life too.
Yeah, doesn't look like fun, huh?
Like what did you want to be when you were 17, man?
I don't know. The only thing I knew is I wanted to be an engineer, something to do with math, physics, fix something, design something. What type of engineer exactly? I wasn't sure either.
Really?
Yeah. When I chose civil, it seems like the most logical, profitable one in Libya at the time. Yeah. My dad was a mechanical engineer. Yeah, but I didn't feel like I want to be a mechanical engineer, no.
Yeah. I definitely see this, this saying that they say you follow in your dad's footsteps. Even sometimes it's like it helps shape who you are, especially when you have a strong figure that is supportive in ways
100%,
like yeah, it's like, okay, I want to be like him, so yeah, back to that what's it called, the dinner. And then we're there, talking about medical stuff. I'm really bored, and then this guy comes in. I still remember what he was wearing. He was wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt, polo shirt.
Which color?
It was dark blue, okay. Ralph Lauren, and black pants with a brown belt. You know why I remember it?
So the belt is showing.
Because everybody else was in scrubs and formal, dress pants, and this guy's coming in, fresh. And then I'm like, okay, and I'm looking at him, and it's like, oh, he's cracking jokes with me, and he's like, and I'm looking at my dad, and I'm like, who's that guy, man?
He's in a good mood.
He's different. He's like 20 years younger than you guys. What does he do? And then my dad's like, he's a dentist, man. He's not a real doctor. He's not a real doctor. So I'm like, yeah, I think I want to go talk to him. Plus, he had the hottest wife.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you checked out his wife too, huh?
Beautiful wife. He looks 20 years younger than everybody else. And I'm there like, so I sit down with him. We're talking. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm a general dentist. And, dentistry is a good job. I work from 9 to 5. I work 3 days a week sometimes 3 days a week. and I got time to do other hobbies. He's like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I'm big in soccer. He was like, oh, I was just in the field last week. I'm like, man,
Soccer too.
he has time to play soccer too.
Yeah.
I was sold. I was like, this is my field.
Okay.
So yeah, that was
I didn't know that. So that was your trigger, eh?
yeah, 100%. That was a big trigger. That changed my life. I came back because, you know, like my dad was working in Canada. I was still studying in that high school I told you about. So I go back to Saudi and I'm like, I want dentistry. Like, sign me up. And at the moment, they were only accepting Saudis for their public schools, which the rules of the country. But they had private schools that you can go to. So I went to the private school. It was really expensive. And I remember my dad's like, you're not allowed to fail. Like, I'm paying a lot of money here. Like, you better deliver. So I'm like, okay, this is my mission. I got to get up to that. So I think that takes chapter. That's the childhood chapter over there.
All right. So, and then after that, you decided to move to Libya?
Yeah.
Why Libya?
Oh, that's a good question, man. So at the time, I was in second year dental school, and then my little brother Sohail just finished, and then my dad's like, yeah, I can't afford to have both of you guys study in the private school. That's way too expensive. And I was like, okay. So he's like, you should consider going back to Libya studying for free. For free?
Shout out to Libya.
Yeah, I'm stressing over, the high payments that my dad's doing for my dental school and like helping me out. And I'm trying to, and I was like, it's for free there? At the time, we didn't know much about Libya. Like, we know we're Libyans. We used to visit maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, see our cousins. But
it's not actually free, though. You pay what, seven and a half?
Yeah. You pay 7.5. You pay 7.5. Like, I think it's like per semester or per year. For us, it's yearly. Yeah. So I think we paid 9 per year or something.
Yeah. I remember it was 7.5 or something.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Because Muzi, you did your undergrad in Libya too.
Yeah. 4 years of 7.5.
7.5. So how much is that in total? 4 years of 7.5. What is that?
What, like each year is 2 semesters. 4 years, talking 8 semesters.
30
times 7.5.
30 Libyan dinars.
Yeah, it's around that. My math is not mathing.
30 Libyan dinars, and you get an education. Like, that's crazy, man.
With like, we use the American code too when we study, so it's all like American system. I'm not sure how it goes in Libyan medical. Do you have like certain type of in engineering we have like European code and we have the American code association, so we tend to use more American in designs and all that.
An engineer.
Not sure how is there something like that in medical?
Yeah, in medical we were more in the British system.
Okay.
Yeah, we were following a lot of British regulations. Yeah, it wasn't American influenced. But they're very close. Yeah. I think the language of dentistry is very, very close. Yeah. So yeah, that was a big shock. I was like, okay, sign me up. Me and my brother were like, okay, let's go to Libya. Let's figure this out. We go there. I start third year dentistry. So he starts first year med school. It's a whole new experience. I'm in Libya. Culture's different. We didn't have the facilities we had back in Saudi.
Just you and your brother?
Just me and my brother. My sister headed to Libya before us.
Okay.
So as soon as she finished, that's older than me, she went to Libya to study right away. Mm-hmm. So she was kind of our reference because we used to visit her for a couple of weeks, and she's like, yeah, it's fine, but it's not the greatest because there's no Starbucks, there's no McDonald's,
there is no Starbucks,
and I'm like, oh, man, like, internet is tough,
You can open in your own cafe and call it Starbucks in Libya, it's fine.
It's crazy, man. And there's... At that time, we were using BlackBerry. You remember when I first... Because we met, I think 4 or 5 months after I came to Libya. Yeah. And...
what's that thing you call BBN?
Yeah, BB Pin.
BB Pin, yeah.
And I'm like, man, my BB Pin is not working. and everybody's looking at me like, what is this guy talking about? Like, man, I was like, I can't text. Like, don't you guys have internet on your SIM? There's no internet in the SIM. No. So it was a culture change. But I've going back at those chapters, I have mad respect to the Libyan chapter. I feel like it changed me a lot, opened my eyes, it humbled me. I learned a lot about the country. I learned a lot about the culture, and I got attached heavily because it gets us to the point where I finished my dental school, and I get very close to finishing my dental school. Actually, I have about 4 more exams to graduation, and that was back in 2011, like 2010, early 2010. And then the conflict happens in Libya, right? Arab Spring, a lot going on in Libya. And
So you mean early 2011 then?
yeah, was it? Yeah, early 2011.
Yeah. It happened in February, something like that, right?
Yeah. It was like end of 2010, early 2011.
Yeah.
And then, at that time, I'm like 4 more exams away from graduation and getting my DDS. And everything changes, right?
4 exams away. And
4
this
exams.
happened. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, so war happens, we get in the conflict. We're trying to, figure things out. I start working for the ICRC, the Red Cross. We were helping a lot during the conflict, the war. There's a lot going on in the country, and I get into the path. I start working with like ICRC. After that, I go start working with USIP, United States Institute of Peace.
Okay.
And what we were doing is basically we're doing conflict management. There's a lot of conflicts in Libya at that time. West, east, south, this. And we're doing conflict management. We're doing awareness. We're doing facilitation and mediation, which was an intense topic because, we're a tribal country. There's a lot of tribal situations going, and we're going in depth. And I started learning all the skills, and it's a great experience, and you get to know the country from inside. And it gets to a point where the USIP comes up to me. He's like, Joey, we need you to get your master's degree. We got you. I was leading like NA, like North Africa, like it was MENA region. So I'm like, I got to a point where I got to a cap, and they're like, okay, we're gonna fund you to go 2 years to Geneva, get your master's degrees in conflict management, and come back, and you're gonna get upgraded. Like you're gonna be more like regional manager position, which was a 6-figure salary.
Okay, so they saw potential in you and they wanted to expand, especially for the North African region, eh?
Yeah, and I was hooked. I enjoyed it, and then at that point, I come back and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of process because this is in Lebanon, when I was in Lebanon, and you were on that trip too. Yeah, we went.
By Beirut, yeah.
Yeah. When was that? That was like,
I think 2012.
12.
Yeah. We did the training there.
Yeah, conflict management, facilitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after I came back from Lebanon, they gave me that, contract, and I'm like, oh, what do I do? So I go up to my grandpa, and I'm like, man, this is a great opportunity for me, Rest in peace, my grandpa. He passed away a couple of years ago.
Rest in peace.
He comes up to me, tells me something really important. He was like, Joey, I know, you're like a businessman, right? I was like, I hope so, and it's like from a businessman perspective, because my grandpa's a good businessman. He was running his printer business. He was, back at slavery time in Libya where racism was big, and he was invested in his printer, So he comes up to me, he's like, from a business perspective, this is a very bad decision, and I want you to really consider it. And my grandpa was always the motivation guy. He was the guy I was like, Grandpa, I want to do this. He's like, yeah, good thinking. I think you got it. Go do it. This is the first time he blocked an idea, and I was like, you're supposed to be my number one fan. Like, let's go. And he's like, not on this one,
He didn't like it, huh?
He didn't like it. And at that time, I was really close to my grandpa, like, and his thumb up meant a lot to me, So I was like, Talked to my dad about it. He was at the same time, same way of thinking. And I'm like, man, you know what? I think I'm going to cut it short.
He didn't give you blessings.
Yeah, he didn't give me my blessings on that. So he's like, which got me in that last point of Libya, because at that point of my life, I was like opening a restaurant. You remember the restaurant I was going to open with a dental office. I was partnering up with a dentist that graduated with me. We were planning on doing a dental office, and this restaurant's going, and I just got engaged. I'm getting married soon. Like I bought an apartment. Remember that, I bought my apartment, and I was like, okay, like I'm ready to get married. This is my life. I'm gonna do the restaurant. I'm gonna go back into dentistry, and then the university started, and I got my degree, and then I was like, okay, the restaurant is opening up soon, and dental office, we're working on the project. I'm getting the dental office up and running. I start working as a dentist. And I was like, what's next for me? I was like, I'm engaged, and I think it's time for me to get married. Yeah. And I met Eno at that time, great girl. We were close, ambitious, and, I'm like, okay, let's go, And this gets me to the final chapter of Libya, because on my wedding day that we had reservations for, a hall. I was renting a hall. My friends are going to come, and I got it planned out for the summer. And then conflict number 2 happens in Libya, which was way messier than conflict number 1. Which is, it got really out of hand. There was a time where it's like,
and it was in Benghazi too.
Yeah. Benghazi was attacked big time. There was a lot going on in Libya, and it got messy. And at that time was my wedding day in 2 weeks, and I left the organization I was working with, and on my way back to Libya to, get my wedding out, I got in a conflict, which, it was a big threat, because I had documents of files for, you remember that day?
Yeah.
For
U.S. documents.
Yeah, U.S. documents of files in a time where going back to Libya, it was, there was a lot going on, and I was driving at night, 2:30 at night, heading back, because the airport was 3 hours away, and there was...
Because the one in Benghazi was shut down.
Closed,
right? Yeah.
because of the conflict, and I'm driving at 2:30 at night. I called my uncle. I still remember. I called my uncle. I'm like, I'm heading back to Benghazi, and he's like, Joey, I think you should spend the night. I'm like, man, I'm tired. I was on a trip.
You had no idea what's going on now.
And I'm like, man, what's the worst that can happen? It's home.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. And a couple of guys that wanted to drive back to Benghazi, so we hopped on one
V2.
V2,
V2
as we call it in Libya.
Mercedes van, guys.
V2 is a Mercedes-Benz. Takes what? How many passengers?
6 to 8, I guess. 6
Yeah.
to 8, yeah.
Yeah, 6 to 8 passengers. So we hop in. We're all like, okay, whatever. We're going to drive back to Benghazi. Let's go. We get to the border. We're close. There was some shooting going on. It was a crazy scene. It's like a scene from a movie. Like this bomb dropped somewhere next to us. It flashed a light. So the guys came out, and they're like, you guys gave our position. I'm like, man, what did I get myself into? So they take us out of the car. They start searching our bags, and then they find the U.S. documents with the U.S. flag on the documents, and I'm like, damn it, like, this is going to be messy. And then they get my Canadian passport, too.
Spy right away.
Shit, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, how am I going to get out of this one? Their buddy just passed away from the checkpoint.
Oh.
So they had someone that's injured, right? And I'm like, okay. So they take us out of the car. They go through it. And then
they were traumatized, and they want to blame everyone now.
They want to get somebody for what happened, right? So I'm like, okay, this is messy. They put us on the floor, and my phone starts ringing, So the guy's like, oh, he got a phone on him. This is exactly the people, or I don't know what they were saying. He grabs my phone, and it was actually my mom calling to tell me it's better not to drive at night, because I was like, I just landed. I texted her. So she calls me, and then the guy's like, "Oh, by the way, like, yeah, Joey's dead."
No. He said that to your mom.
He said that to my mom, and then my mom's like, "What do you mean Joey's dead? Like, I was just talking to him. Like, something's happening." And he closes the phone. So then my uncle, they call my uncle in Libya, because my parents at the time, they were still in Saudi. They call my uncle in Libya, and they were like, "Oh, by the way," my uncle starts blowing up my phone, calling me like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then 30 minutes later, a guy from the Vito that drives with us, he knew the people from the checkpoint. You know how Libya is.
Yeah.
People are related and stuff. So he's like, "We're from Benghazi. I know you. You are cousins with this guy, and this is..." And then the guy's like, "Oh, damn, like, what are you guys going into Benghazi at this time?" You know?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You know what? I'll drop you guys here. The Vito got to leave because he's not from Benghazi, but you guys just walk in." And I'm like, bro, it's 2:30 at night. You're leaving us in a highway without a car, like. And then the guy with me is like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, I'll call someone. I know where we are." You know, what was that first checkpoint in Benghazi when you're driving from the east?
I forget the names now.
Yeah, I think it's like there. Anyways, that at that point, and we just walked in.
And at that time, they gave you everything, your stuff and everything.
Yeah,
They let you
everything,
go.
the stuff, the luggage. We had light luggage. So this guy calls up a friend of his. We slept over. The next morning, we get into the car. My uncle comes pick me up, and he's like, "You gotta talk to your mom, man." I was like, "I already did." As soon as I came, I was like, "I'm alive. I'm okay." They were just checking. This what happened. She's like, "Oh my God." So guess what happens? She tells me, "You gotta leave the country. Like, it's too risky. Something's gonna happen to you." She's a mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm not leaving without getting married. My wedding is next week."
Yeah.
So
I have a commitment.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be leaving behind. Like, I gotta make a decision. Like, so she's like, just
Just get married.
just get married. Go do your wedding and let's go. So I got married. Boom. On my wedding day, we did a small party. Cost me like maybe 500 dinars. Got the whole wedding wrapped up. None of you guys were there.
Yeah.
I think you were in
I think
Turkey.
I was in Turkey studying for
Yeah.
my IELTS exam. Yeah. Because it was too messy in Benghazi.
Yeah. And then I get into my sister's Tida and drive that all the way 3 hours to the airport. And get on the first flight, and I went to Turkey, and I after that I went to Lebanon, and that's chapter 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just found a way to come to Canada. That was the plan.
Yeah, cause basically, yeah. It's chapter 3 starts at this point, I think.
Yeah.
If you're gonna divide into that.
Yeah.
So
Because it took some time. I guess you had all the papers to come to Canada. But
Yeah.
Eno didn't, right?
yeah. So we land in Turkey. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out how am I gonna get Ina to Canada, because now I gotta get her a PR.
Yeah.
And
Or a visa at least.
or a visa. So we go to the Turkish embassy, the Canadian embassy in Turkey, and I'm like, this is the situation. There's like, yeah, you gotta hire a lawyer. This process takes 6 to 9 months, so you gotta figure it out. And I'm like, okay, so my parents are in Saudi. She can't get a visa to go to Saudi. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to Cyprus, and I'm going to do my master's in orthodontist. So I go there, I go to Cyprus, I apply for their license. I started working as a dentist for a bit. The language was tough, I got to learn a new language. The culture was different.
Turkish side, eh?
I went to the Turkish side and I went to
side?
the Greek side, both, yeah. And the Greek side was actually easier documents to do to work. So I looked into that, and then they expired Eno's visa. They didn't give her a visa after 35 days. They're like, Libyans are not allowed to stay in the EU for more than 35 days or in the Turkish side without having documents for the purpose of you to stay. So I'm like, oh man, so I can get her a working visa, but I need to apply for my visa and I don't have time. And where is she going to go till I figure all this out? So at that time, I talked to a good friend of ours, Sully. I was like, man, what's the situation in Egypt? Like, I think, I think,
Egypt expert.
yeah. So Sully at the time, he's like, bro, I'm in Egypt, kicking up my feet. Life is good. Come get yourself an apartment, settle down in Egypt, and figure it out.
From there.
And I'm like, that's smart. Rent is cheap. Egypt is an amazing country. They speak Arabic. I speak Arabic. I got a couple of friends there. Prices are reasonable. Let's go. Let me use it as a base to figure out what I want to do. Yeah, and this gets interesting because now when I move to Egypt, I meet up with a friend that's going to Canada. And he was waiting on his PR. He's way ahead of me. So he doesn't have a Canadian passport, but he already knows the process in Canada, what you need to do to get equivalency in Canada. Now, I left Canada a number of years ago.
Okay, so he's a dentist as well.
He just graduated with me from the same year that I graduated. Okay. But he had his eyes sharpened on going back to Canada and working as a dentist. Versus me, I was taking care of my family's business in Libya. And I got an establishment where I was in a comfortable zone.
So
I wasn't thinking really about Canada, the restaurant, I was opening the dental office. I started doing investments like rental properties, building, villas to rent out. And, I got really catched up to Libya.
You didn't expect the war's going to happen in Libya?
I didn't see it being that messy, and...
It was a joke, Joey.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Saw that coming, no.
You got me into some deep conversations.
Yeah. Okay, so Egypt, and then you got to know the equivalency exams and all that, and that I guess sparked a trigger in you, like you gonna do that?
Yeah. So me and my friend, we talked about what is needed to become a dentist. Shout out to Dr. Shaheen. He's one of the guys now working in Canada too. Mm-hmm. So he sat down and he's like, Joey, by the way, it's like you got to do this, and that. And we're going to get to that point because that's part of chapter 4, but I'm kind of jumping in a little bit.
Just a teaser, guys.
Yeah, so he's like, it's easy, we're smart. The university in Libya is high equivalency. We were trained very hardly. Like, we got good skills. I was like, yeah, man, just tell me more. Like, I'm in Egypt right now. I'm waiting for the conflict to finish. I may go back to Libya, but at the same time, I want to get Inu's papers so that at least you got a document so we can travel, and I want to start my life. So he's like, yeah. You know what? I'm leaving in 3 weeks. I'll keep you posted because you still need 6 months for Inu's visa to come out. And I'm like, yeah, keep me posted, man. So he ends up going to Canada. And at that point, Canada's chapter started because Inu gets her PR and we're out. Let's go. So, I landed in Canada. I was in touch with Ahmed. Dr. Shaheen, he was helping me a lot. He was giving me all this is what you need to do. This is what you need to apply. Mm-hmm. And I started reading about it. And I was like, God damn, this is clear as day. Like, let's go. Let's give this a try. I got nothing to lose. Yep. I left my apartment in Libya with a body in it. It's all messed up. My restaurant got blown to the ground. The office that I wanted to blown to the ground is starting from scratch. Let's go. Yeah. So
this is what you studied too, like.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not gonna let that go. This is it's my passion, Yeah. So I get to Canada and I'm like, my goal is like, I gotta get to the equivalency, but I'm broke, and it's expensive, and so basically, in a nutshell, because this is gonna be a whole nother episode that we're gonna talk about this, but in order for you to get your equivalency started in Canada, it's 3 big steps, right? Let's call them, 3 big steps. You have step number 1. That's
if you studied abroad and you're coming to Canada and you want to do the evaluation.
Yeah, okay. You want to do basically the equivalency.
Okay.
So step number 1, you have to have a university degree for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So you have to study dentistry for 4 years, and you apply all your documents through NDEB. That's the body that manages to make sure your certificate is legit, everything is legit. And then once that is done, that normally takes about 3 to 9 months, now a little longer. Okay, you get all your documents, some back and forth with the universities. You have to make sure, you get all your documents aligned right, give them to NDEB. And then after that, they open your profile. Okay? And it's like, welcome to the Hunger Games. All right? And then you have your first step, which is called AFK. That's like fundamental knowledge. So they pour everything at you. So it's a multiply questions. It's 200 questions. You got a couple of hours to, there's some courses and whatever. We're going to talk about all this in the detail of the episode. And then that exam alone, you're looking at around $1,000,
And you pretty much forgot most of the stuff after your graduation. There was a bit of a gap, right?
Yeah. So you have the gap, and they're asking you about third, fourth year dentistry stuff. So you have to go back to the books, like material, like shade matchings, like, biochemistry. So the basics needs to be there, right? And but the good thing is it's third and fourth year dentistry, which is more clinical. If your clinical is good, that's like 60-70%. So you need to like top up with the rest, Anyways, so we're going to talk way more about this topic. So you do the AFK exam. That's your first step. You pass that. Normally you need 75%. So you have to be in the high range. It's a Bell's curve. So the better you are, the more prepared, the better your chances. You go into ACJ. That's assessment of judgment. So you're looking at x-rays, you're more into cases, bases where, you're trying to, patient comes in with emergency, what are you going to do? That kind of type of questions, multiply questions too. Mm-hmm. You solve that. Passing rate is kind of tough in this exam, but if you study hard, you deliver. And then after that, you go into the third step, the clinical step. That's more hands-on. So, you practice, and that's the expensive part. That's around, altogether, you're looking at $35,000. Yeah. So first step, 1,000. Second step, maybe 2,500, 3,000 for the exam. And of course, you got the courses on top of that. We're going to talk about more details about that. And then you go into the third exam. Once you're done with your third exam,
you're good.
You're good.
Okay.
Now you're considered that you graduated within Canada, and now you need to do the board exams.
Ooh.
There's 2 more. Yeah.
2 more.
2 more. But these are like a week apart, like a couple of days apart. And they're quite easy. Because you're out of the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Those 3 exams that you start with, it takes you about 2.5 years to finish. Because there's 6 months you do intense studying, you go trial, then you wait in the queue to make sure you get to the second. And we're going to talk about all this stuff. So at that period of time, I'm looking at finances. I'm money short. I want to make sure. So I'm working Uber. I'm doing, I worked in Iron Mount, boxes, packaging.
Shout out to Uber.
Shout out to Uber. Uber came late because when I came back, that was 2014?
Yeah.
I came to Canada 2014, 15, so Uber wasn't there. So I started working in Iron Man. My brother actually got me this job.
Iron Man, what's that?
Iron Man is like a storage company for storing files.
Okay.
So they give you a bunch of stickers. You take the boxes, you wrap them up, and it was paying $16 an hour. We were making bank, And my brother's
that was higher than the minimum.
Oh, it was higher. Minimum was like $12 an hour at that time. Yeah. So I used to go study all day in the library, and I used to take the midnight shift, the graveyard shift at night. So that way I do the storaging, while, thank God I had my parents. They decided to move back to Canada, and they helped with accommodation. But my dad is that type of personality that kind of, in our family, the men look for a way to, he supports 100%, but he wants you to learn to be independent, make sure that you want to do this exam, you're going to study for it, you're going to make sure you're providing, whatever, and I'll help you out with shelter, I'll help you out with food, you don't need to worry about that stuff. Plus, I was married, so I had Ina with me,
okay.
So I go through that process, exam, working Uber. When Uber started, that was a game changer. I was like, let's go. We were making, $23, $24 an hour?
Yeah.
Poof. You know, so I was working Uber, doing my skills exam, driving 11 hours, then doing my clinical skills. And people that did the course with me, you know, we were a group of people studying together. They were like, you know, we got it. It was option A or option A better. Like, there's no quitting. And I had this guy from Peru that was always saying, like, we have no choice. You know, he had the best accent. He comes up to me. We were working hours, man. We're sitting there because you need to be a perfect dentist and clinical skills to pass that third exam. Passing rate is like 18%. You know what I mean?
So low.
Like, and you go in and it's like proper Hunger Games. They're asking us to do, you know, for people that know dentistry, like MOD fillings, cusp cap. And I'm going to talk about all this in this episode, but it's intense work. And it's like a 2-day exam. Day 1, you go in 8:30, you leave 5:30. Day 2, you're going in exam again, clinical skills. You're providing very high standard dentistry.
And because it's very expensive, that's when I guess that makes it even more difficult, right?
You got the stress.
You can't afford to make any mistakes.
You can't lose.
Yeah, no.
You know, so it's like you're in. My skill changed 90% doing this exam.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess that takes us to chapter 4. You passed the exam. You became a dentist. I guess the first thing you did is you start as an associate. But how? Like, you started like an associate, I'm assuming. Did you open the clinic right away, or how does that usually work?
No. So, yeah, so I got my license. I started teaching. So I started involved in, you have 6 months before you're doing your board exams from the result comes out. So I start teaching in a center for people that are doing the equivalency.
Okay.
So that 6 months I started giving back because I was hyper focused because I just came out of exam. I got all A's at that time, and you know I got a really good score. So I'm like, I need to give back. Like I know I cracked the code. You know, I know I know how to make your work perfect, fast. You know, so the center was like recruiting me, and I started teaching there, and then, you know, I was like, okay, I wanted to be involved in the center, so I wanted to buy in, become a partner with them before starting working as a dentist in that 6 months period of time. And I started teaching every day. I'm coming out, and I got a good fan base of, you know, dentists that really loved my approach because it was straightforward, quick, to the point, what they're looking for, and from a guy that passed the exam from the first time. Because a lot of people were going second and third. You have 3 trials. So they used to come up to me, you know, and I started getting a fan base, people checking their work. I was like, you know what, I like this. And then I started my first job. It was an amazing story. I met this guy. I was doing a couple of interviews, and then I met this guy. His name is AJ Gupta. And I remember I gave him a call. I saw his ad in Indeed. So I give him a call, and I'm like, man, you know, I see your offer. It's 14 hours outside of Ontario. You know? And he's looking at me like, yeah, I have this ad up, good pay, but it's north in Ontario. It's 14 hours outside of, 14 hours outside of Toronto, not Ontario.
Okay.
So, and I'm like.
But it's in Ontario.
It's in Ontario, about 14 hours north of Toronto. So I'm like, I come back, and I just got my license, and I'm hyped. So I'm looking at him, I was like, what is the town called? He's like, it's Manitouwadge. It's called Manitouwadge. And I was like, when can I start? And he's like, okay, hold on. How about, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in Toronto. He's like, are you sure? You just got your license and you want to work in Manitouwadge? And I was like, he's like, can you meet me? And I was like, where do you want to meet? He's like, come to Subway next to the airport.
Oh, he lives in Toronto too.
He lives in Toronto too, and he's like, he lives outside Toronto, but within GTA area, and that's like the outer layer of Toronto. So he's like, okay, meet me at Subway next to the airport. So I'm like, okay. When? He's like, can you meet me at 3? Like the next day? I'm like, okay, sounds good. So I meet him in Subway, and I'm like, I'm doing an interview on Subway for a dental office. Like, I'm there, you know, to have my best, tie up and, suit is on and looking sharp. And I walk into Subway and I meet that, the owner of the office and he's in shorts and he's ready to take off. He's going to, I think he was going to like somewhere like Costa Rica or like Punta Cana or something fun. I don't remember at the time. And he's like, yeah, my flight is in 3 hours, so let's make this quick. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can you grab me a cookie or something from that? And I was like, yeah, okay. I grab him a cookie. I sit down and he's like, so you just finished, huh? And I was like, yeah, I got my license. I'm hyped. He's like, do you want to work a minute? Well, it's 14 hours. And I'm like, yeah, if the money in the contract and I'm the only dentist in the area. And he's like, that's a lot of responsibility. And he was straight up. He's like, it's a lot of responsibility because the nearest other dentist is at least an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And the town is 2,500 population. But I'll give you good compensation. I'll pay for your accommodation. I'm going to help you out too. And I was like, yeah, sign me up. He's like, when can you start? I was like, I'll start tomorrow. He's like, it takes you 14 hours to get to Manitouwadge. Are you sure? And I was like, I'm leaving today. And I come back home, talk to my dad, and I'm like, by the way, he's sending me the contract. He sends me the contract. I sign it. The next day, I'm in the car driving to Manitouwadge. Let's go.
Wow.
I moved to Manitouwadge, smallest town, population 2,500. They don't even have Tim Hortons. Like, Tim Hortons are everywhere in Canada, right? Manitouwadge doesn't even have Tim Hortons. All right. It's that bad. I started looking for accommodation. I get a nice house. I think it was like $500.
So you saw the ad, you knew the spot, but you didn't do anything. No Google research. The spot.
No. Dive in head first.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's go.
That's a Joey move.
It's like my question was, is there a dentist there right now? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, is he getting the same compensation that you promised me? And he's like, yes. And he's like, if you're able to get the office started as soon as he leaves, I'll bump the percentage up a little more and I'll make sure I'll cover your accommodation. And he's like, how about you visit the town first because it's a 1-year contract. I was like, no, I'm okay. Sign me up. I want that. I'm the only dentist, experience. I'm going to run the office. I call the shots. I hire. I do everything. He's like, yeah, take it off my plate. Just keep me in the loop so I can guide you. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. So this guy owned at least 15 offices in the north. Okay. He was king of the north. And at that time, and I'm like, I moved to Manitouwadge. I get a house, I rent, I start working. I love it. Beautiful town. People are friendly. And they love me over there because, they have dental pain. There's a dentist in town. I treat them. Things were good. And then COVID hit. I decided, I'm shifting. We're kind of going into chapter 4, right? Yeah. Yeah. So COVID hit. I decide after a year of Manitouwadge, I move to North Bay. I work in an office that's owned by the same owner. Mm-hmm. So he told me, you want to move to North Bay? It's a bigger city because now you have 2 kids because I got my second kid, Ali. And we moved to North Bay. I settled there, and I was going to buy into the business, like the office in North Bay. I really liked North Bay. It was a beautiful town, nice location, beautiful water. And then I'm like, okay, this is nice. I'm going to settle here. So at that point, he wanted to quit the game. He's planning on selling all of his offices. So he's like, I want to retire from dentistry. And at that point, I was like, I need the guidance. I feel like I don't want to start on my own. So, and he's like, but I'm selling. So I get to a point, I'm there with my staff in North Bay. And I told them I really wanted to buy the office, but it's not working out because he's selling to a dental corp. And they're like, why don't you buy your own? Joey, you've been running the office really smoothly. You're basically doing everything from hiring to supplies to, you're the one in the office, So I look into it and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to buy it, I can maybe look for a city that's a little bit bigger because I grew up in a big city. Right. I always been a big city boy, So I'm like, okay, let me see.
Like one that has Tim Hortons?
Yeah, North Bay had a Tim
Oh,
Hortons.
they did. Okay.
Yeah, North Bay had an airport. They're good. They had a McDonald's. So I'm like, okay, Toronto wasn't an option because it's saturated. I started looking to Ottawa. I visited Ottawa before I wanted to buy an office. I was like, I love this city. Quiet, good to raise your kids, good schools, a lot of potential. Government, it's the capital of Canada. Good location, close to the States because, traveling and stuff. I was like, okay. I look online, I find a dental office. I talked to my staff at the time, a lot of people that helped me a lot, like, a good office manager. Her name was Ashley. She really helped me. Rebecca, hygienist at that time, she really helped a lot. Fine-tune my decision, and I'm like, okay, we're moving to Ottawa. And then...
Oh, so they moved with you too?
They decided that they want to move with me and work with me in Ottawa, and it was a lot of pressure because I bought an office that I saw once. I never worked there, and from the dental perspective, it's always good to work in an office, kind of have a sense. That's what they're going to tell you. That's 101 buying a dental office. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do it, but because I felt like at that point, I let them go with not buying the North Bay office. And in the same time, I wanted to buy my own office because I just had a vision on how I wanted to run it. I was running maybe 70% of the show in North Bay, but it wasn't 100%. Mm-hmm. I wasn't able to give the good wages, the bonuses. That was the owner's responsibility. At the end of the day, you're an associate.
Yeah.
So I did the move. We took Ottawa over. I moved to Ottawa. I moved to Wateridge. I rented a spot here, and we started running Mercel Dental, 230 Dalhousie Street, downtown Ottawa, and we took over from a French-speaking dentist.
Okay, you didn't see that coming. I thought Ottawa was gonna be all English-speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hit.
Okay.
Because at that time, I think you moved to Ottawa too, right?
Yeah. And I moved to Ottawa from Montreal because I didn't speak French. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your field it's different.
Yeah, true.
Because you have a lot of clients that speak French, right?
Yeah. And unfortunately, I don't speak French. So when we first took over the office, it wasn't mentioned that it's a full French running office. You're talking front desk was speaking French. Everybody was greeted in French. The hygienist, the assistant, they all spoke French. And the neighborhood, like downtown Ottawa, it's close to Gatineau, the French, Quebec, which was involved with a lot of French-speaking patients in government jobs. A lot of them speak French. And unfortunately, I don't speak French, but I already bought the office.
Deal with it now.
I was lucky enough, Rebecca that came with me from North Bay, she spoke French.
Okay.
And everybody calls quit when a new owner comes in. That's, clear. Some of them I had to fire because we didn't have the same vision. Some of them quit as soon as the owner sold. So I had to take on the responsibility of hiring people in the new office. But that is part of the experience. You dive in head first, So I hired a front desk. We got the office running. We start running, good marketing, good website, giving good customer services, trying to retain, the French patients, making sure, everybody's happy with the customer service. And I learned at this point of time, in order for me to make this office successful, I have to deliver one thing that I know I can do the best, which is really good dentistry with really good customer service, And in order for you to do that, you have to really treat your staff and your patients like what McDonald's says, your customer is king, And I was like, and if they decide to leave, I really tried my best, So we're going to get into the whole dental. I'm sure that topic's going to get brought up a couple of times. So that was my first office. I bought that one about 5 years ago. moving forward to speed fast, now like having we opened another dental office in Waterridge where I live, and it's doing great. I opened that about a year ago.
That one is different, right? Because you started that one from scratch. You
Yeah.
designed everything.
Yeah, that one, Waterridge, we started from scratch. I had a great team with me. Shout out to Henry Schein for helping me with the office. That was built in a perfect time. I did it the way I like it. And it was a whole different experience, you know, buying an existing office and then scaling it up and then branching out to your second office, building it from scratch, and then running it to now it's been 10 months. We're already about 700 patients. We have over 200 Google reviews. The office is doing great.
Nice.
You know, it was built perfectly. So it was, I feel like, and then of course, branching out during that period between starting Blanca company that is more involved in, you know, whitening strips, dental, water flossers and toothbrushes. I'm sure that topic is going to be opened because I have a partner in that company as well that, you know, we're going to talk a lot about Blanca. And at the same time, the Dental for Less, another company that we're doing that's like in dental supplies. And all this was done in the period of time. So that's the entrepreneurship that we're doing. Plus, you know, Tameless, another great part of the collection that we're starting, hopefully.
It's the newest thing. You also opened, what's it called? Silk? I think you opened something.
Yeah.
So
Silk.
Different a bit from dentistry, right?
Yeah. So when we went into opening the second office, I divided. We had 4 rooms.
Uh-huh.
So one of the rooms, the plan is to make it into like a med spa with limited services to like hair removal, facials, and I have my staff between both offices, both trained to get involved, you know, into like the aesthetic part of it. So it's not something that I'm involved with personally, but it's something that I'm funding. And it's a project that I'm working with a couple of partners that will be on the show to talk about
So
the whole.
the same
Silk.
dental staff, you had them trained to do that, huh?
Yeah. It's my assistant, my office manager, my hygienist. Those are part of the team. And now we're training even more staff members to be involved. So that way, it's like a source of income and it's experience. And they're not only involved in how and just delivering the service. It's how structuring it as well. You know, and they will be in the show, like hopefully with the marketing part, Blanca starting it from registering the brand to escalating the business to more sales, and then of course the Silk and the Dental for Less. Like these are all projects that we're gonna be talking a lot about in the podcast.
All right, nice.
Yeah, that was great.
I think that's wraps it up. What should we call this episode, Joey?
I don't know, man. What do you think?
Go head first.
Head first.
Yeah,
a little intro for Tameless, a little intro about myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks a lot, Muzi, for bringing all the sharp questions and getting me all my emotions.
I try my best.
So yeah, thanks a lot. And leave your comments, guys. Tell us what you think. And all your comments are going to be, this is a new field for me. I'm diving in head first. And I much appreciate how can I perfect this and get it better and better by the day?
Exactly, yeah. Anything, any tips in terms of lighting, design, topics, if you have any questions for the next guest, or if you have a guest that you're interested, that you want to see Joey to speak with, or topics, don't be shy to mention anything, I guess.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And don't forget to follow Tameless Podcast on Instagram. We're going to have a lot of, and on YouTube as well, and other platforms. Appreciate it.